Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comments. God in the heart. Genesis 28. 1. And Isaac called Jacob, and blessed him, and commanded him, and said unto him, Take not a wife from among the daughters of Canaan. 2. Arise, go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father, and take a wife from there from the daughters of Laban your mother's brother. 3. And God Almighty bless you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, that you may be a multitude of peoples. 4. And give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and your seed with you, that you may inherit the land where you are sojourned, which God gave to Abraham. 5. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram, to Laban the son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah the mother of Jacob and Esau. 6. And when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him to Paddan Aram, to take a wife from there, and that, when he had blessed him, he had commanded him, saying, Take not a wife of the daughters of Canaan. 7. And that Jacob obeyed his father and mother, and went to Paddan Aram. 8. And when Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan were evil in the sight of Isaac his father. 9. Esau went to Ishmael, and took for himself, besides his wives, Mahalath daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, sister of Nebaioth. 10. So Jacob departed from Beersheba, and went to Haran. 11. And he came to a place where he spent the night, because the sun was already setting, and he took one of the stones of that place, and put it under his head, and lay down in that place. 12. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set on the earth, the top of which reached to the heavens, and behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. 13. And, behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. This land, on which you are lying, I will give to you and to your descendants. 14. And thy seed shall be like the dust of the earth, and shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. 15. And behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. 16. And when Jacob awoke from his sleep, he said, Indeed the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. 17. And he was afraid, and said, How terrible is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. 18. So Jacob rose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put under his head, and set it up as a pillar, and poured oil on top of it. 19. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city before was Luz. 20. And Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and keep me on this journey that I take, and give me bread to eat, and clothes to put on. 21. If I return to my father's house in peace, the Lord will be my God. 22. And this stone that I have set up for a pillar shall be the house of God, and of all that you give me, I will surely give you a tithe. Genesis 29. 1. Then Jacob set out and went to the land of the people of the east. 2. And he looked, and, lo, a well in the field, and, lo, 3 flocks of sheep lying by it, because from that well they watered the flocks, and there was a great stone over the mouth of the well. 3. And there they gathered all the flocks together, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and they would roll the stone back over the mouth of the well in its place. 4. And Jacob said to them, My brothers, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. 5. And he said to them, Do you know Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, We know. 6. He said to them more, Is he well? And they said, All right, and here is Rachel his daughter, coming with the sheep. 7. And he said, Behold, it is yet midday, it is not time to gather the cattle, water the sheep, and go and feed them. 8. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks are gathered together, and they roll the stone from the well's mouth, that we may water the sheep. 9. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, because she was a pastor. 10. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered Laban's sheep. His mother's brother. 11. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up her voice and wept. 12. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son, so she ran and told her father. 13. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the news of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him into his house, and he told Laban all these things. 14. Then Laban said to him, Truly you are my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a whole month. 15. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my brother, will you serve me for nothing? Tell me what your salary will be. 16. And Laban had 2 daughters, the eldest's name was Leah, and the youngest's name was Rachel. 17. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was fair in countenance and fair to look upon. 18. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, 7 years will I serve you for Rachel your youngest daughter. 19. Then Laban said, It is better that I give it to you than that I give it to another man, stay with me. 20. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and these seemed like a few days to him, as much as he loved her. 21. And Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may marry her. 22. So Laban gathered all the men of that place together and made a feast. 23. And it came to pass in the evening, that he took Leah her daughter, and brought her to Jacob, who possessed her. 24. And Laban gave his servant Zilpah to Leah, his daughter, for a servant. 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, he saw that it was Leah, so he said to Laban, Why have you done this to me? Have I not served you for Rachel? Why then did you deceive me? 26. And Laban said, It is not done in our place, that the lesser be given before the eldest. 27. Fulfill this week, then we will also give you the other one, for the service that you will serve with me another 7 years. 28. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled Leah's week, so he gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. 29. And Laban gave his handmaid Bilhah for a handmaid to Rachel his daughter. 30. And he also had Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with him 7 more years. 31. When the Lord saw that Leah was despised, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. 32. And he conceived Leah, and bore a son, and called his name Reuben, for he said, Because the Lord hath seen my affliction, therefore shall my husband love me now. 33. And she conceived again, and bare a son, saying, Because the Lord heard that I was despised, and gave me this one also. And he named him Simeon. 34. And she conceived again, and gave birth to a son, saying, Now this time will my husband join me, because I have borne him 3 sons. That's why he called him Levi. 35. And she conceived again and gave birth to a son, saying, This time I will praise the Lord. Therefore he called him Judah, and he ceased to give birth. Genesis 30. 1. When Rachel saw that she did not bear Jacob children, she was jealous of her sister, and said to Jacob, Give me children, or I die. 2. Then Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in the place of God, who withheld the fruit of thy womb from thee? 3. And she said, Here is my handmaid Bilhah, dwell with her, that she may give birth on my niece, and that I may receive children through her. 4. So he gave Bilhah his handmaid to wife, and Jacob possessed it. 5. And she conceived Bilhah, and bore Jacob a son. 6. Then Rachel said, God judged me, and also heard my voice, and gave me a son, therefore she named him Dan. 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's handmaiden, conceived again, and bore Jacob a second son. 8. Then Rachel said, with great struggles have I fought with my sister, I also won, and called his name Naphtali. 9. So when Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she also took Zilpah, her handmaid, and gave her to Jacob to wife. 10. And Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, bore Jacob a son. 11. Then Leah said, Fortunate, and called his name Gad. 12. Then she bore Zilpah, Leah's handmaiden, a second son to Jacob. 13. Then Leah said, For my happiness, because the daughters will consider me blessed, and called his name Asher. 14. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field. And he brought them to Leah his mother. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me some of your son's mandrakes. 15. And she said to him, It is a small thing that you have taken my husband, will you also take my son's mandrakes? Then Rachel said, Therefore he will lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes. 16. So when Jacob came out of the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou shalt possess me tonight, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. 17. And God listened to Leah, and conceived, and gave birth to a fifth son. 18. Then Leah said, God has given me my reward, for I have given my servant to my husband. And she named him Issachar. 19. And Leah conceived again, and bore Jacob a sixth son. 20. And Leah said, God gave me a good gift, this time my husband will live with me, because I have borne him 6 children. And she called him Zebulun. 21. And afterwards she had a daughter, and she called her Dinah. 22. And God remembered Rachel, and God heard her, and opened her womb. 23. And she conceived, and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my shame. 24. And she called his name Joseph, saying, The Lord add to me another son. 25. And it came to pass, as Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, Let me go, that I may go to my place, and to my country. 26. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and I will go, for you know the service that I have done to you. 27. Then Laban said to him, If now I have found grace in your eyes, stay with me. I have experienced that the Lord has blessed me for your sake. 28. And he said more, Determine me your salary, which I will give you. 29. Then he said to him, You know how I have served you, and how your livestock has passed with me. 30. Because the little that you had before me has increased in great numbers, and the Lord has blessed you for my work. Now then, when shall I also work for my house? 31. And he said, What shall I give you? Then said Jacob, Thou shalt not give me anything. If you do this to me, I will again feed and keep your flock. 32. I will go through all your flock today, separating from it all the speckled and speckled ones, and all the brown ones among the lambs, and the speckled and speckled ones among the goats, and this shall be my wages. 33. So will my justice testify for me on the morrow, when you come and my wages are before your face, anything that is not speckled and spotted among the female goats and brown among the lambs is theft from me. 34. Then Laban said, If only it were according to your word. 35. And he separated that same day the striped and spotted goats and all the speckled and spotted female goats, all in which there was whiteness, and all the dark ones among the lambs, and gave them into the hands of his children. 36. And he put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob was feeding the rest of Laban's flocks. 37. Then Jacob took green sticks of poplar and hazel and chestnut, and he peeled off the white stripes on them, discovering the whiteness that was on the sticks. 38. And he put these sticks, which he had peeled, in front of the flocks, in the pipes and in the water troughs, where the flocks came to drink, so that they would conceive when they came to drink. 39. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and the ewes brought forth striped, speckled, and spotted offspring. 40. Then Jacob separated the lambs, and set the faces of the flock toward the striped ones, and all the dark ones among Laban's flock, and he set his flock by himself, and did not put them with Laban's flock. 41. And it came to pass, whenever the strong ewes conceived, Jacob put the rods in the pipes, before the eyes of the flock, that they might conceive before the rods. 42. But when the flock was weak, he did not put them on. So the weak were Laban's, and the strong Jacob's. 43. And the man grew exceedingly, and had many flocks, and maidservants, and menservants, and camels, and asses. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comments. God in the heart.